Hey guys, it's Marshall from Going Gear, and today we've got a light that a lot of you have been asking about, Klarus XT11. Very similar to the XT10 that they had previously, although they did make several improvements. If you hear some grunting or whining in the background, I have my dog and my newborn daughter in here with me, so that's where those sounds are coming from. So Klarus XT11, let's open it up and take a look. They're using the packaging they started using on all their lights. I really like the packaging. It's pretty minimalist, doesn't weigh a whole lot, not very wasteful. It still looks pretty nice. So it has all the specs on it, got all the standard information, and as a retail store person, I love that they have UPCs, which a lot of the Chinese lights do not have. So here is the light. I'm going to pull that out, set it to the side, show you what else you get in the packaging. Standard accessory kind of stuff. So here's your lanyard, spare O-rings, boot, tail cover caps, instruction manual, always worth a read for people like me who make videos and don't know how the lights work until they actually start using them. Always remember to read the manual. So here's the holster. It will show you the light in the holster. Take it and just slide it down in there, and you've got this Velcro on the top. So you've got closed top, closed bottom on there. Keeps it in there nice and tight. Velcro on the back, so you've got a loop there. A couple loops, you can attach it to your belt, your pack, however else you want. Another loop up here for carabiner attachment. Video making is boring, my daughter. Sorry, baby. So here's the XT11 with the XT10. You can see they're pretty similar as far as the size and shape. A little bit longer on the XT11, a little bit of a different reflector. You have 600 lumens on the XT11, I think 420 on the XT10, and you got the stainless steel bezel here on the XT11. And on the inside, there's a couple of differences that are nice for those of you who will be weapon mounting these. You have springs on both ends of the XT11 versus no spring on the head of the XT10. Not that the XT10 ever had any problems with weapon mounting. They made it to be able to handle recoil. It handled it just fine. They just have that extra layer of protection with that other spring that you had on the head of the XT11. But same interface, same switches that you have on there. So you have the dual switches. Main switch turns the light on, secondary switch switches to the modes or accesses strobe, and we'll show you that here. So the light, both of these lights are actually powered by a single 18650 or two 123s. So we have a couple of Surefire 123s we'll throw in there. Turn the light off. I guess I hit the switch earlier. Go ahead and put the head back on. Actually, we'll go ahead and take the tail cap off so you can see the inside of that. And I'll show you that you can remove the ring if you do want to remove it. It just comes right off. So there's the inside of the tail cap. There's a little bit, I'll show you a better view of the buttons. So there's your main switch, there's your secondary switch. One nice thing that you can see is there are actually different sizes and shapes and heights. So in the darkness, you go, just brute force hitting the switch, you're going to hit that main switch, you're going to turn the light on. So you're not accidentally hitting that secondary switch unless you really want to. So they're very easy to tell the difference. It's very easy to tell the difference between those two in the dark. So we'll go ahead and put the tail cap back on. Show you the operation of the light. Again, it's the same as the XT11 and the XT10 and the XT20. So you got this main switch. Lightly press it. You have your momentary activation. Click it all the way for constant on. And of course, click it again to turn it off. And your secondary switch has a couple of different functions. From off, if you hit that secondary switch, you'll see it'll go into momentary strobe. So as long as you're holding it down, you have strobe. And if you just keep it held down for a few seconds, it'll go into constant on the strobe. But if you just held it down for a little short period, you've got the momentary. Main switch, turn it on, hit the secondary switch. That's how you switch between your three different outputs. And then if you have it in one of those outputs, if you press and hold that secondary switch, you've got constant on the strobe again, and then just tap it to get back into the regular outputs again. So really cool interface. You can see how they'd be really useful for tactical users. They really like it, military and law enforcement, because you hit that main switch, you're always going into the max brightness because this has no memory. It doesn't come on into low or strobe or anything like that first with the main switch. You just hit that switch and you got your max output of the 600 lumens. Great interface on this. So that's the interface on the XT11. We're going to go and take both of these outside and we'll show you how they compare to each other outside. Okay, we're out here with the XT10, XT11. Got the big 40 mag light that I always use. Let's go ahead and try that mag light, see how it does. Bush at 15 feet. tree at 100 feet. Same as it always is. Alright, so since the XT10 is the existing light, we're going to try that one first, show you how that one is. You can see why this is one of my favorite lights. Nice compact tactical style light, puts out a ton of light for something its size, really nice beam, really large hotspot. We'll zoom in on that so you can see. It's 100 feet away. Obviously it'll do a lot further than this, but at 100 feet everything is lit up really, really well. I'm cycled through the other two outputs. You can see even at 15 feet, the low actually does pretty well. Alright, let's try out the XT11. There you go. Even more light coming out of that. Higher quality light, just a higher quantity of light. 15 feet, it's almost too bright, but out at 100 feet, it does fantastic. We'll do them side by side real quick. Actually, we'll cycle through the other outputs on the XT11 first. There's your medium, there's your low. There it is back on high. So we're going to have the XT11 on the right, XT10 on the left. Shine around just so you can see the difference in the beams. And of course, the spills of each are going to overlap a little bit, but it's not going to make a huge difference. So that was obviously without the diffuser. Now I have the diffuser on there. We'll use a red filter here in just a second. There you can see what the diffuser does. Basically takes the beam and just spreads it out. Now you lose a pretty decent amount of the throw, so you can see at distances it doesn't do as well. But I think these are really, really useful because you can see it spreads it out for up close kind of stuff, medium distance. Diffusers are great. I really, really like them because of what they do to the beam. They just make it where it lights up everything in front of you with more of a smoother, more uniform beam. So that's the diffuser. Let's try a red filter. Alright, I have the red filter on there now. Let's go ahead and try it out. You can see, obviously you're going to lose a lot of the output. Any of the filters are going to do this, especially the red. Zoom in on the tree. That's out at 100 yards, and you can still actually see pretty well. It illuminates things really well. So if you have need of the filters, this is what they do. And obviously the blue and green are going to do the same thing, but in blue or green. Alright, let's try out some longer distances and see how the lights without the filters and diffusers do. Okay, we've got some more distance to work with the two Klarus lights. Guy in the background making a surprising amount of noise with his car at 3 o'clock in the morning. Of course, I'm probably making a surprising amount of light at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, anyway, here is my house at about 50 yards. Tree in the front yard at 100 yards. Can't really see what's going on out there. Here is the XT10. We'll try it out first. 50 yards, does great. 100 yards, still does great. So you can see the top of the tree over 100 yards away. Lights up the whole thing. You can see what's going on out there pretty well. And the spill will light up all the trees around it. Even the house, you can see down here, 50 yards away, the spill alone is lighting up the house. And then of course shine it directly at it and you can see everything out there extremely well. So that's the XT10. XT11, even more light. So again, spill below, you can see how well it lights up the house. Top of the tree out there at 100 yards. Lights it up even better than the XT10. You can see all the details really, really well. And then all the trees around, just from the spill alone, you can see, we'll shine it around a little bit, just so you can see better what's going on out there. So not a bad improvement. They did a really good job on making some pretty good improvements from the XT10 to the XT11. So we'll do them side by side. We're going to have the XT10 on the left, XT11 on the right. I'm going to shine them around so you can see better the difference in the beams. I'm sure people are going to comment on the tint difference. That's not necessarily something you're going to see on every light. There is going to be variation even with the same model. You could see the same tints or different tints. It just depends on which one you get. So there you go. That's the new Klarus XT11 and the XT10. If you have questions or comments about either one, you can reach us in the comments or at goinggear.com. If you like the video, be sure to subscribe. We put out a ton of videos, flashlights, survival gear, tactical gear, general outdoor gear, all kinds of stuff. And thanks for watching. Okay, Squirt, what do you think? I'll give you some hands-on action with it. Paws-on action. There you go. I think that's positive.